particularly the PDP, to learn that if you violate your constitution, you violate the electoral guidelines you have made, you refuse to listen to the wishes and aspirations of your members, there's a consequence. And that is what has transpired today. The court has held that because the PDP, which is a self-confident in this case, has refused to comply by its own electoral guidelines, section 50, 36 of its own constitution, and the provisions of section 82 and before the Electoral Act, its ad hoc delegate congress of 4th and 5th February 2024, the court just declared it as a nullity for the exclusion of 378 ad hoc delegates who were duly elected and who have been so accredited by the party, but were excluded. The implication of this is that PDP has no candidates because those delegates that were supposed to elect that delegates were excluded from participating in the party primaries. For us, it's a victory for the rule of law, and we must thank the judiciary because the judiciary remains the last hope of the common man. The judiciary has said these 378 delegates have been excluded, were unlawfully excluded. So for us, it is victory, and there's need for Edo people to know that as it stands, PDP has no candidates, and it's a lesson for the party and other political parties to always comply with it because there's no alternative in there. There is a former Chief Justice of Nigeria, Atanda Williams CGN, that said, in a situation where the rule of law is jettisoned, anarchy becomes so beneficial. So God forbid that we live in the state of lawlessness. We don't pray for that to happen. Thank you.
So, your name again, just like that?
Yes, Edo State people and Nigerians across the world, greetings to you all. This is breaking news. We have just been informed in the last hour that the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has nullified the PDP primaries held in Edo State that produced Asue Ighodalo as the governorship candidate of the PDP for the forthcoming Edo State governorship election. By implication, this ruling indicates that the PDP has no candidate. Therefore, Asue Ighodalo's name will not be on the ballot. Asue Ighodalo's name will not be on the ballot. To that extent, Asue Ighodalo is not a candidate for the Edo State governorship election of 2024. This is breaking news. It is important to understand the enormity of this court ruling that is currently going viral. Let it be known that as this stands, Asue Ighodalo is not a candidate for the Edo State governorship election. As things stand, the PDP doesn't have a candidate for the Edo State gubernatorial election of September 2024. Now, a lot of things have been going on. Even yesterday when I was on air, discussing other issues, I did say there was a matter that was cooking, but I was not going to provide any information until we get in exactly what was happening. To give some perspective to this, later in the day, I'm going to be coming up with some people who know so much about this. But we didn't know. This is what we know. We didn't know that in the course of the PDP primaries, a number of candidates were, of course, thrown out of the race. People like Aslemu Jezua, the likes of the former deputy governor of Edo State, Philip Shaibu, and all of that. And the PDP, as a matter of fact, had two primaries. I did remember that Philip Shaibu had a primary in his own compound, and while the governor of Edo State had a primary that produced Asue Ighodalo. Now, this ruling, based on what Andrew Emata reported just now, this ruling shows that the court has said that the primary organized by the PDP under the auspices of Governor Godwin Obaseki was null and void. That primary has been nullified. And to that extent, Asua Ighodalo will not have his name on the ballot come the Edo State, when it comes to time for the governorship election. Asua Ighodalo's name will not be on the ballot. Now, some of us do expect, we don't know what is going to happen, but we do expect that I'm having a caller. Let me take this call. Hello. I am live on air, sir. I'm live on air. Do you want to say something? I'm reporting on this breaking news. What do you want to say something?
No, but what I want to say is that the legal system in Nigeria should be working. The rule of law, once it's working, every other thing will be checkmate in Nigeria. That is the reason why I say we should try as much as possible to make sure that our judiciary, they are functioning correctly. Okay, because really, if we are to fight and correct this abnormality, it is in the hands of the court in Nigeria. That's just what I want to say.
Thank you very much. That is a friend of mine calling from Scotland. I'm sure he wanted to actually speak with me, directly, but it is good that he has added his own voice to the matter. Yes, it is breaking news, and the information is that the Federal High Court of Nigeria, a court of competent jurisdiction, has nullified the PDP governorship primaries held in Edo State under the auspices of Governor Obaseki. And the implication of this is that Barrister Asua Ighodalo is not a candidate for the Edo State governorship election of 2024. That is the implication. For those of us who may just be joining, please, if you are there, help share this broadcast. It's very important. It's a sad day for the Asua camp. It's a sad day for his supporters. As a matter of fact, it should be a sad day for the entire Edo State and Nigeria. The reason is this: if the majesty of the court and, of course, the position and the submission of the court by way of this judgment is to be respected, it therefore means that procedural observations were not followed. It therefore means that, what the PDP needed to have done, was not done. And this underscores some of those things that we've always talked about, and it equally underscores the point being made by the last caller just now, that we need to do things rightly. And if this holds sway, I do expect that the PDP will appeal this judgment, and of course, whatever the outcome will be, if the appeal, holds the position of the Federal High Court, what therefore means is that, what needed to have been done was not done. It therefore meant that, desperation sometimes may not be the way. For this breaking news, this is definitely going to take Nigeria by storm. And I am sure the Asua team will be looking at how to appeal this judgment. But as things stand today, before the appeal, which we expect that they are going to make, Asua Ighodalo is not a candidate for Edo State governorship election 2024. Asua Ighodalo is not a candidate. Let me just take us back to the breaking news as released by, of course, one of the lawyers of those that, of course, taking this case to court. Let's take a listen one more time.
And it is a lesson for political parties, particularly the PDP, to learn that if you violate your constitution, you violate the electoral guidelines you have made, you refuse to listen to the wishes and aspirations of your members, there's a consequence. And that is what has transpired today. The court has held that because the PDP, which is a self-confident in this case, has refused to comply by its own electoral guidelines, section 50, 36 of its own constitution, and the provisions of section 82 and before the Electoral Act, its ad hoc delegate congress of 4th and 5th February 2024, the court just declared it as a nullity for the exclusion of 378 ad hoc delegates. were duly elected and who have been so accredited by the party, but were excluded. The implication of this is that PDP has no candidates because those delegates that were supposed to elect that delegates were excluded from participating in the party primaries. For us, it's a victory for the rule of law, and we must thank the judiciary because the judiciary remains the last hope of the common man. The judiciary has said these 378 delegates have been excluded, were unlawfully excluded. So for us, it is victory, and there's need for Edo people to know that as it stands, PDP has no candidates, and it's a lesson for the party and other political parties to always comply with it because there's no alternative in it. There is a former Chief Justice of Nigeria, Atanda Williams CGN, that said, in a situation where the rule of law is jettisoned, anarchy becomes so beneficial. So God forbid that we live in the state of lawlessness. We don't pray for that to happen. Thank you.
So, your name again, just like that?
Okay, those state people and Nigerians across the world, that is actually the breaking news. And we are following that very closely. Any other update, definitely we are going to be on top of this situation. Of course, some of us have had, this. We knew that this was coming, but however the journal was going to go, we didn't know. But we know that it was a case in court challenging, of course, the lawfulness of the primaries, conducted by the PDP under the auspices of Governor Obaseki. And of course, it's been revealed that a number of the delegates were excluded from that process. We knew, at the time, a lot of things were not well with the PDP in Edo State, and of course, we could see how those that were supporting Asue Udalo tried to bulldoze their way to ensure that other candidates, did not have their way as far as the PDP primaries was, concerned. And while all has been done, as a matter of fact, the primaries, the election, the ambition itself, cost the Edo State, the elected deputy governor to Governor Obaseki. That's talking of Philip Shaibu. A lot of people have not been happy with that. Some have said, good riddance to bad rubbish and all of it. There's been mixed feelings and all of that. But we've seen how, Asue Ighodalo's candidacy was bulldozed through and all of that. And it's sad that today this ruling is coming out. And many people definitely are going to be highly disenchanted. People are going to be dazed. Of course, like somebody said earlier, if our judiciary would be up to the task to ensure that the right things are done in this country, we probably will have a better future in this country. However, there is a suspicion. I did get a call much earlier and somebody telling me that, of course, there's a black hand in this matter. In black hand, they're referring to the fact that they are very convinced that opposition parties, like, pointing fingers at APC, would have influence this judgment. Now, all of that we cannot independently verify, but of course, it is a news out there. I'm just trying to look for a statement quickly released by the chairman of PDP in Edo State, Mr. Azegbemi. He did release a statement. I just give me a second to set that statement out. Yes, Azegbemi made a press release. The chairman, Edo State chapter chairman of the PDP, he said, and I read, I may not be able to post this right here. He said, the PDP is aware that certain elements are scared of the soaring popularity of our candidate, Dr. Asue Ighodalo, and they are going about penning rumors that the candidature of Dr. Asue Ighodalo has been nullified. He said, let it be known, let it be on record that the candidature of Dr. Asue Ighodalo as the flag bearer of the party for 2024 elections remains intact, and that the judgment of the Federal High Court in Abuja did not in any way affect the candidature of Dr. Asue Ighodalo. We urge our teaming loyal supporters to remain calm and resolute, as there is no cause for alarm. End of quote. That is from Dr. Tony Azegbemi, PDP chairman, Edo State. He's urging PDP members and supporters of Asue Udalo to be calm and that there's no cause for alarm. And of course, when I read this statement earlier, as I was about starting this broadcast, I told myself that is what I would expect from a chairman of a party who is at the receiving end of this particular information. Yes. What we are seeing, the breaking news that has been released is very much easy to interpret. Even by the deaf, it's easy to be seen by even the blind. It's very clearly audible. Federal High Court, nullifies PDP governorship primaries. The Federal High Court did not talk about Asue Udalo, but it is that same primaries that produced Dr. Asue Udalo. So if that primaries have been, nullified, it therefore means that the PDP has no candidate, and Asue Udalo is a candidate for the PDP. To that extent, by a layman's interpretation, except, of course, they are going to produce another legal interpretation that we do not understand. But by a layman's interpretation, I am not a lawyer. What we already know is that the PDP has no candidate, and if the PDP has no candidate, it therefore means that Dr. Asue Udalo is an ordinary citizen and not a candidate for the governorship election in Edo State. Dr. Asue Udalo has been nullified. So long as the entity that brought him out is nullified, Dr. Asue Udalo ceases to be a candidate for the election. As interpreted, the PDP has no governorship candidate. I'd like to play that again. Let us hear Barrister Andrew Emata, restate that, because he did say that when he was doing this press briefing, and of course he did call it victory for the rule of law. Let's take a listen again, particularly for those who may not have heard. The breaking news is that the Federal High Court in Abuja has nullified the governorship candidacy of the PDP, and it says, in summary, that the PDP, because of having conducted an illegal primaries, the PDP has no candidate for Edo State governorship election of September 2024. Take a listen once again for the last time.
And it is a lesson for political parties, particularly the PDP, to learn that if you violate your constitution, you violate the electoral guidelines you have made, you refuse to listen to the wishes and aspirations of your members, there is a consequence. And that is what has transpired today. The court has held that because the PDP, which is a self-constituted business, has refused to comply by its own electoral guidelines, Section 50, 36 of its own constitution, and the provisions of Section 82 and 54 of the Electoral Act, its ad hoc delegate conference of 4th and 5th February 2024, the court just declared it as a nullity for the exclusion of 378 ad hoc delegates who were duly elected and who have been so accredited by the party but were excluded. The implication of this is that PDP has no candidates because those delegates that were supposed to elect that delegate. The implication of this is that PDP has no candidates because those delegates that were supposed so accredited by the party but were excluded. The implication of this is that PDP has no candidates.
So we can take a listen to that. He said the implication of this is that PDP has no candidate, and the only candidate of the PDP that we know is Dr. Asue Udalo. And if this court judgment is to hold sway, it means, of course, has been stated by Barrister, what's his name, Andrew Emata. He says that PDP has no candidate, and if the PDP has no candidate, Asue Udalo is not a candidate for Edo State governorship election 2024. That is the implication of this judgment. Of course, like I said, we expect the PDP to quickly exhaust all avenue provided by law to appeal against this judgment. That is what is to be expected. But as things stand, before the appeal comes through and before we hear the judgment of the appeal court, as things stand, based on this judgment, PDP has no candidate for the election. As a matter of fact, the implication of this is that INEC is just immediately going to step down, the name of Asua Ighodalo and the candidacy of PDP from this election. As a matter of fact, until a contrary judgment reinstating Asua Ighodalo comes, okay, INEC is expected to quickly remove Asua Ighodalo as a candidate for the governorship election of Edo State. This is the implication of this judgment. It is not one to be taken lightly. It's very heartbreaking for every supporter of Dr. Asua Ighodalo. It's heartbreaking for every supporter of the PDP candidacy. It is heartbreaking. While others may celebrate, it is heartbreaking for the entire political framework of the Nigerian state, because if this stands, it therefore means that we are yet to get it right, and it's important that we get it right. There is no way, like even the Bible says, shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? We need to do things rightly. That is the implication of this, that if this holds, it means that this could actually serve as a deterrent to future political engagement in our state and of course in our nation, because this will be a precedence. You understand what I'm saying now? And the rule of law should always be allowed to prevail. And of course, the constitutional provisions and guidelines guiding electoral processes should always be allowed to prevail. Let's take a listen further. Admiral Bata, who is giving this report, I just said that as things stand, the PDP as an entity, a political entity in Nigeria, has no governorship candidate in the forthcoming governorship election in Edo State. Take a listen.
Those delegates that were supposed to elect that delegates were excluded from participating in the party primaries. For us, it's a victory for the rule of law, and we must thank the judiciary, because the judiciary remains the last hope of the common man. The judiciary has said these 378 delegates have been excluded, were unlawfully excluded. So for us, it is victory, and there's need for Edo people to know that as it stands, PDP has no candidates, and it's a lesson for the party and other political parties to always comply with it, because there's no alternative area. There is a former Chief Justice of Nigeria, Atanda Williams, CGN, that said, in a situation where the rule of law is jettisoned, anarchy will come to so beneficial. So God forbid that we live in the state of lawlessness. We don't pray for that to happen. Thank you.
Your name again, just like that?
That is a report coming from Barrister Andrew Mata, of course, giving us the Federal High Court judgment, that has sat over this case where the PDP primaries were challenged, by aggrieved parties. I am sure that as the day go by, more details will begin to emanate. But on the face value, the information we have currently is that the PDP candidacy for the Edo State governorship election 2024 has been nullified by a court of competent jurisdiction. And to that extent, the PDP has no candidate for the forthcoming election. And the implication of that is that Asua Ighodalo ceases to be a candidate for the governorship election of Edo State. And to that extent, if this stands and if this holds, it therefore means that there are two major candidates left, to battle it out in the election of September 2024. And that would be Barrister Olumide Akpata of the Labour Party, and of course, Mr. Senator Monday Okpewolu of the APC. These two candidates will become the choice that Edo State will be going to the poll to go and choose from. Of course, there are other candidates for very many other political parties. Just that permutations do not really, play, friendly to the side of this, some of these other political parties, because of course of the amount of followers that they have. So majorly, the way things stand right now, the election is now between Senator Monday Okpewolu of the APC and of course Barrister Olumide Osaigbovo Akpata of the Labour party. But I can assure us that the last of this matter, has not been heard. Of course, I do know, as many of us would, understand that we expect the PDP, the handlers of the PDP, candidates, and of course the PDP as a political party, we expect them to challenge this judgment. And of course, until the appeal court rule otherwise, Aswa Ighodalo is not a candidate for the governorship election of Edo State come September 2024. Don't go away. My name is Comrade Lantek Mausa Oriahi. We are still very much on this matter. Please, if you are there, if you are watching on Facebook, don't forget to follow us on TCS blog. Don't forget to follow us on the Comrade Show. Do not forget, if you are watching on YouTube, to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where we are going to be on the matters of Edo elections. We're going to be on top of it as the day go by. My name is Comrade Lamte Oriaki. Stay with me. Don't go away. I'll be right back just this minute.
This is Comrade Show.
Okay, people of Edo State and Nigerians across the world, let me quickly come up with another news that may excite Edo State people across the world. This one is another breaking news. Barrister Olumide Akpata, will be in London for a town hall meeting with Edo State people. This is part of Olumide's campaign. Of course, he's taking his campaign to the diaspora to have interactions with Edo State people all across the world. He's going to be in London. I'm aware he's going to be in Manchester. He's going to travel, around some major cities in Europe, and of course, he's going to take a tour of the Americas, as it were. And so, this is just a call out to every Edo State indigenous, and of course, Nigerians who are interested in the political happenings in Nigeria to come and of course be part of this event. It is going to be on the 26th. On the 26th of July, Friday, the 26th of July. I just put out the flyer out there, and it's going to be between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. I have advocated that I like everybody to come and squeeze Olumide Akpata. People should come out and ask, questions, tough questions, because at the end of the day, this is a governorship election. Edo State is going to be put in the hands of somebody, one of whom is going to be Olumide Akpata. Particularly looking at the events happening currently with Aswa Ighodalo already being nullified by the court. The battle now is between Olumide Akpata and Senator Monday Ukpewolo. It is essential that Edo State, people, have a very clear interface with these people, engage with them as much as possible, ask the difficult questions so that people can really make up their minds on whom to vote for between Barrister Olumide Akpata and Senator Monday Ukpewolo. And of course, until the appeal court, rule differently against the judgment that has come against Aswa Ighodalo, right now, it is right not to consider Aswa Ighodalo as a candidate for the forthcoming elections. So, but this is just to say that Barrister Olumide Akpata is going to be coming to London. Let's do well to come out. And of course, for me, it should not be a fun fair. This must be a serious matter, because the future of Edo State for the next 4 years is going to put in the hands of either this man or another candidate. So therefore, Edo State people must be interested. Whether you support him now or you don't support him, I want to enjoin everybody to come out as much as possible and come out and quiz the candidate, come and ask him those very tough questions. It's what we owe ourselves so that we can help deepen democracy itself. And I do hope that Monday Ukpewolo will avail himself, because so far, Monday Ukpewolo has been missing in action. Nigerians and Edo State people have not been able really to, interact with him to know exactly what is God, what is God for Edo State. Well, that is information out there. Please take note. On the 26th of July, and the venue is All Saints Community Center, 105 New Cross Road, London. SE14 5DJ. That is the postcode. Don't forget, it's Friday the 26th, the last weekend of July, Friday 26th of July 2024 by between 5 and 9 p.m. Another information is going to follow this very shortly, and that would be that Olumide Akpata will be expected also to be in Manchester the very next day, which will be the 27th of July, and it's going to be the same time. But more information on that, as I've been told, I'll be coming with, hopefully in the coming hours or in the coming day or two, and all of that. Please, I'd like to join us. Let us come out and squeeze him and ask him those tough questions. It's very important. Questions that others may not remember. You come out and ask so that people can have, some ideas, some understanding. Of course, people can take away something. Because at the end of the day, when anybody becomes the governor of Edo State, we must be able to hold them to account. Holding them to account means that we must be able to remember the things they have said, the promises they have made, and remind them along the way in case they are veering off path. And that's what we must do as Edo State people. Barrister Olumide Akpata will be in London. Don't stay away. If you live in London and Air Virus, ensure that you find your way to that event center and, of course, be there. Yes. Still on the breaking news. I'm just going to go back to that for the last time so that for those who may just be joining us now, we just have to know that I'm back to the breaking news right now, that Barrister Asue Ighodalo of the PDP, the primaries that producing has been nullified by the Federal High Court. And to that extent, the court says that PDP has no candidate in the forthcoming governorship elections. That's very heartbreaking news for the supporters of Asue Ighodalo, for the supporters of PDP. I'm sure that they are going to appeal this judgment. But until that, until a contrary judgment comes that reinstate Asue Ighodalo, as things stand as we know today, Asue Ighodalo is not a candidate for governorship elections of Edo State 2024. As things stand, of course, when that changes, definitely we are going to speak to it, and of course, everybody will get to know about it as well, isn't it? Yes, that's the way it is. And I can say almost authoritatively, so long as there's this judgment from the Federal High Court, believe me, I'm almost sure, as sure as God is looking at me, that INEC is immediately going to step down Asue Ighodalo's name as one of the candidates for this election coming up in Edo State. As things stand, Asue Ighodalo is not a candidate for the governorship election of Edo State. Heartbreaking. I know that in some camps, some people are very happy. They are joyous. Well, it remains to be seen if the High Court has ruled rightly. But of course, the appeal court, we are going to hear what the appeal is going to say. I don't know, I'm sure that the PDP, they are going to appeal this judgment. If they don't appeal it, it's going to be affirmative. Asue Ighodalo will not be on the ballot. If they appeal it and the judgment is stayed, it therefore means that Asue Ighodalo will not be on the ballot. Except, of course, there's a contrary judgment that that reinstates Asue Ighodalo. That is the only way he will be on the ballot. Ladies and gentlemen, for now, that is the breaking news. It is a Comrade Show. Follow us, subscribe to our channel, and we are sure to be on top of this matter. If there are any other issues regarding this matter, be sure that we are going to come to talk about it. My name is Comrade Lamte Oriaki. Don't forget that it is the Comrade Show. I'll come your way. Until then, stay blessed, stay focused, and keep your eyes on the ball. Don't forget, Olumide is coming to London. Make yourself available. Bye for now. See you when I see you.
Oludi Ebobo, Labour Party, Ebobo, Oludi Ebobo, Labour Party, Ebobo, Oludi Ebobo, Oludi Ebobo.
Olu na our guy.
Olu na the guy.
Na my guy.
Na your guy.
Na your guy.
Sure na our guy.
The guy wey fit do the work.
The guy wey Edo people like, wey they fit trust.
Oludi.
Olumide Osaigbo for Akpata.
Na our guy for Labour Party governor ticket.
Oludi Labour Party, who's your guy? Now Olumide Akpata. Oludi. See us we dey like beans and rice. Labour Party, I will never leave your side. I will never ever. I dedicate my time forever. Time to you, my people. Even if the road be rough, I know mine. Cause together we shall stand.
This campaign is sponsored by Prince Dr. Egbe Omorojon, Chairman Labour Party UK, member Edo South Labour Party's Leaders Congress, Director UK Coalition of Support Groups.